And this is a Fox News alert. New Hampshire has been decided, and we're seeing the fallout already. Just moments ago, Christie announced he suspended his campaign, and earlier today, Carly Fiorina also dropping out of the race. This comes after Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders dealt huge blows to their opponents last night, winning their respective primaries by a landslide. Before we get to that, we want to talk about the recent dropouts. Greg, you had some thoughts on Christie dropout?
Yeah, he's like the guy who walks into a bar and cold cocks some dude. So that guy's out, but then he goes to jail. So it didn't really work out for him. The good news for Christie is he lost big, but he also lost being big. Because in his bid for the presidency, he decided to lose all that weight, which is healthier for him, and his family should be happy because he will live a longer, healthier life. He may not be the president, but he'll be skinny.
David, your thoughts on Christie doing the attack? What was he going for? Was he going for, do you think the New Hampshire people were going to respond more positively?
Maybe. I think that he always thought that he would do better in New Hampshire than he ended up doing, and plus, he sensed a weakness in Marco Rubio, and he was able to exploit it to his advantage, except for it actually doesn't work out for him because he wasn't even going to make it on the debate stage for this Saturday night's debate in South Carolina. So he's like, well, why would I go down there and sit in a hotel room while everybody else gets to debate? So I think he's made a good decision. You know, he's a relatively young man. He's got about a year and a half left as governor of New Jersey. I think he's going to be a very important part of helping whoever the Republican nominee is. He'll be a great campaigner. Don't forget that when he was the chairman of the Republican Governors Association this last cycle, he helped elect a historic number of Republican governors. And I think if I were on the Republican ticket, I would say, Christie, your assignment is governors and senators, because the Senate hangs in the balance, and he would be really important there.
What about it? Should I don't know, Donald Trump or Ted Cruz start knocking on Christie's door saying, hey, how about an endorsement?
Absolutely. That's exactly where I was going to go with it. I think it's a question of not only who can get the endorsement, but who can get the money. Because this muddle of sort of second-tier Republicans right now, they need somehow to break out. And I think a Christie is clearly an establishment Republican. People are comfortable with him in terms of the donor class. And they could make a difference going into South Carolina and the SEC primary. The second thing to say, though, is, you know, Rubio was exposed as being somewhat inexperienced, callow, green, however you want to put it. And I think you're going to see this come back again. This is not over, folks. What's going to happen is you go into South Carolina, and all those other Republicans, not the one guy in the bar, turns out, guess what? There was a
They're in the parking lot.
So let's talk about what Juan points out. It's an Achilles, right?
Yeah.
Did Christie expose Rubio's Achilles, and can he I don't know, have the operation, have it fixed?
Well, when you're a prosecutor like that, you'd love to live and revel in the facts. And what he was saying was, these are the facts. This is the candidate. This is who he is. Take a good look. Make a decision. Don't put it off. Right? That's what he was trying to do. Now, overall, you want all the candidates to be vetted, to be challenged, to be battle-tested going forward. So, indeed, you do, in fact, emerge with the best choice to be the nominee to carry the party forward and take back the White House. That's what happens when, you know, when you're playing like this with the big dogs. That's what goes down. Now, I do think that he's going to be a very effective surrogate for anyone going forward.
Except Rubio.
Well, Rubio, you never know. But I mean, they'll rise to the occasion. Like he said, he's tremendously popular with all the governors, and he was getting, you know, a lot of great calls and feedback last night. The bottom line is he also could be potentially Attorney General. I mean, this is a guy that, like you said, he's young. He could go forward again. Maybe this wasn't, maybe that wasn't his time right now, but it could be again.
If you listen to the post-New Hampshire talking, the people who are leading New Hampshire, it sounds like Trump may, like I said, tap Christie and say, hey, how about an endorsement? It would do well. Anyway, the polls were indeed right about Donald Trump. In fact, he easily won the first primary with a resounding double-digit victory. John Kasich pulled off the second-place slot. Iowa's winner, Ted Cruz, came in third. But first, let's hear from the winner.
What do we really want to thank, right? We want to thank the people of New Hampshire, right? Do we love the people of New Hampshire? You know, I said it, and I said it even a year ago. I said, I think I'm going to do really well there because I'm here a lot. We're going to be back a lot. We're not going to forget you. You started it. Remember, you started it. We are going now to South Carolina. We're going to win in South Carolina.
Don't scream. And the morning after the huge win, the Donald showed a little humility. Check it out.
I think all of them. I mean, they're all accomplished people. They're governors and senators, and, you know, they're all very good people. Maybe. You know. But I think probably I wouldn't want to pick one because they're close enough, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, that's nice. Donald Trump is pivoting to a softer tone, right? No chance. Trump has eviscerated anyone hitting him, delivering wicked counterpunches, so I wouldn't get too comfortable with this soft-tone Trump. Chalk it up to a guy playing the game as skilled as if he were a politician for the last 40 years instead of a businessman.
Well, you know, I thought that he was very good in his speech last night in terms of saying there's a lot of really talented people in the Republican Party, and that I think was very nice to do, and the appropriate thing. You've got to also learn to try to coalition, you know, build some kind of consensus and rapport with the candidates. The one that I think that he's probably still going to go against, you know, in South Carolina and in the debate would be Ted Cruz. I think that that's somebody who's going to give him some trouble there in terms of getting out the vote, messaging. Look, you know, Cruz still did very well in New Hampshire. You know, he bested Rubio. I would be very careful around him, and he's hitting Donald hard, and I know we're going to talk about that later.
Yeah. So Juan, 36%, I think Donald Trump got. The polls were pretty accurate. They had Kasich second. He came in second. Interesting. The exit polls, 35% of independents chose Donald Trump.
That's very interesting to me. You know, look, Trump did very well across the board. So it's not only the case, though, Eric, that he did well with independents, which is, to me, incredible. Right. He did very well with strong conservatives. So people who are strong conservatives and independents, sort of across the spectrum of Republican ideological beliefs, chose Donald Trump last night. And I think that's great news for Trump. Now, does that carry when you get into a different set of, you know, different dynamic down south? I don't know. Remember, down south, you're going to have more evangelicals. You're going to have more people who are self-identified as conservatives. It's a little bit like Iowa, but not obviously the same. It's not a caucus states. So the question is, do those people stick with Donald Trump? The polls indicate that Donald Trump right now is positioned to run the table, buddy.
Right. So, and Juan points out, the latest poll, I think was the end of January, Trump had a 16-point lead in South Carolina. Does New Hampshire help that?
It could, or it could spur activity amongst the others. So I think that Cruz is, as Kimberly pointed out, Cruz's good showing last night after only spending about $1 million in New Hampshire shows that he has a lot. If you think of that 43 won Iowa in 2000, thought they were going to win New Hampshire. They don't. They lose in New Hampshire, but they went on to win in South Carolina and move on. So I agree. I think that Ted Cruz would be the one to watch. But New Hampshire was tailor-made for Donald Trump. He won so decisively, just lapping the field. It's unbelievable. So is this the beginning of uniting the party? I don't think so. South Carolina is where the battle will be joined.
So, Greg,
and don't count out Bush there.
Kasich spent his whole time in New Hampshire. Didn't even bother with Iowa, went right to New Hampshire. What's he do now? And does Trump, does he change the angle of his guns to Ted Cruz, back at Ted Cruz?
I don't know. You know, can I focus on New Hampshire just for a second? Yeah. So Kasich and Trump together got about 145,000 votes. Bernie Sanders got 150,000, so he got more people in New Hampshire than the top two Republicans. So they can't be called live free or die anymore because they just chose to die. Seriously, they chose a democratic socialist. Live free or die. Non-leftists have to ask themselves who's going to win in the general election, because Bernie Sanders didn't just beat Hillary, he beat you.
Money. Does this matter? Will Donald Trump start to take money? Anyone think he would?
Start to take money?
Yeah. He's already
This is a big, game. Of course Donald Trump takes money. He takes lots of money. People give him money. There was an article the other day in the paper about exactly who is it that sends money to a billionaire. I mean, that's how he does take money. But
he says he's self-funding.
I know he likes to say that, but it's not true.
Are you breaking some news here?
No, it's no news to it. If you just, but here's the thing I think that I wanted to challenge you and Dana on. I don't think if you look at it as Cruz and Trump at the top right now, I think they're not really I don't think Cruz is a real threat to Donald Trump, in all honesty. I think the threat would have to come in the Republican establishment lane that now, and to me this is the big news out of New Hampshire, is occupied by Governor Kasich. And so the question is...
In South Carolina?
I think across the South. The Republican establishment has to get behind somebody. it was Rubio coming out of Iowa. After New Hampshire, I don't think it's Rubio.
Yeah, but you have to wait to see after South Carolina because you know Kasich definitely crushed it and performed.
And they're all competitors. They're all going to play to win in South Carolina, and so I don't think we just don't know yet.
You know, this is Bush's home field, though, right? He wants to win South Carolina.
Well, this is more the rise of the governors now.
Yeah, but you know what Kasich is? It's like when you're at a restaurant with unfamiliar dishes. He's the chicken fingers. That's the thing you order. It's your safe bet.
I love those chicken fingers.
Yeah, but you know what? That's what you order if you don't understand anything else on the menu. And
No,
I think
maybe
that's
you just
Kasich's
really
charm.
No, but maybe you just
safe.
really love the taste and the crispiness, the flavor.
My taxi driver this morning, he was from Jamaica. He lived here 18 years, and he said Kasich is his man.
Wow.
Interesting.
It's chicken
Don't
fingers.
forget,